Ooh, child, there were some cringy moments with this last episode of Real Housewives of New York. Let's talk about it. Welcome back to number one reality junkie, where I take my reality TV junk and I just dump it right on you. Make sure you guys like this video and subscribe to this channel for more Housewives content. And let me tell you something. Real Housewives of New York episode that just aired this past Tuesday. I'm going to be honest, it was a struggle. It was a struggle. But even within that struggle, there were a few cringy moments that I wanted to talk about because there really isn't anything else to talk about. You know, recapping the episode just isn't going to do anything for anybody, including me. I got better things to do. But there were a few things from the episode that I do want to touch on. First being the fact that Bren is flirting so hard with Aaron's dad. And look, we already know Bren is a flirt, makes no qualms about it. And there's nothing wrong with flirting. However, and I believe it was Sai who said this, and I haven't been like really feeling Sai really from the beginning, but I do agree with what she said. She said in her confessional about Bren flirting with, Aaron's dad, she referenced how she was so frustrated that people would call her, ask her how she gets her money. And, is she, dating these older men and all this kind of stuff because of the behavior. And I think, she really walked right through the door of that by flirting with Aaron's dad, who unfortunately we find out has passed away. So this was probably one of his last times being on camera because he passed away this year, I guess over the summer and everything. So I'm sure, this episode, when going back and watching it, especially for Aaron, is going to be difficult in multiple ways because you can tell Aaron was uncomfortable by the notion that she was flirting with her dad, but not just flirting, but long term, it was like they could have been on a date. We could have just it probably would have been a better episode had we been watching Bren and Aaron's dad. But you can tell that Aaron was very uncomfortable with the fact that Bren was just spending so much time with her dad at her mezcal party. It looks as if she literally sets herself up for these types of comments. When you do this, especially with someone's father who's on your cast, and especially with the age difference between the two, and then especially for the duration of time, because you can erase all the other stuff, but the fact that we don't know truly because of editing and all that kind of stuff. But it seemed like the majority of the party she spent with Aaron's dad. So that was just a little weird and, again, very cringe. My second cringe moment comes from this discussion with Aaron and Rebecca Minkoff. Now, Rebecca Minkoff has been nothing on this show. I don't even know why she is really on this show because she hasn't really given anything yet. And when outside of, she's given a little bit of her family life, just a tad bit, touched on a couple of things, but we haven't even gotten her own scenes with her family, unless maybe they just don't want to be on the show, which could be very well be the case. But this discussion with Aaron regarding her, being Jewish as well as her being a Scientologist, and, how the two just don't match, and Aaron is really trying to get to the bottom of it. And she's doing it very, with kid gloves, which I think is what you want to do when you are talking about someone's beliefs. We never want to ridicule what someone believes. I have my faith and I'm strongly rooted in that. And I wouldn't want anyone questioning or, trying to challenge me on my faith. So I think some of the questions, though, that Aaron brought up weren't challenging her faith necessarily, but it's challenging how can you be in two opposing, faiths. And Rebecca explains it as, she's Jewish, that's her, her faith, but her Scientology is just, she uses principles to live by, to handle things in this life. And even within that, I think, especially certain religions, they're providing you tools and ways to lean into your faith, not to lean into another, I guess, quote unquote, Scientology is a religion, but not to lean into something else, but to lean in your faith, So I believe Aaron, I appreciate Aaron questioning her on this only because it really is very interesting to hear the dynamic of being into religions. Like, it's just, that's very, very difficult. And even the explanation was just, it was cringe, of course, which is why it's in my cringe category. But, it was just very interesting to hear her try to explain that. My last and third cringe moment. And this one is a big one because it's unfathomable that you would have someone so close to you, you and your husband, someone that you used to be, that you've had intimate relations with. And yes, I'm talking about Aaron and her business partner. Aaron and her business partner, per Bren, have been intimate. Okay. And we get the backstory on that on this episode. And yet they are still business partners. And he actually is close to Aaron and Abe. And not only close, he jokes that he's their marriage counselor, saying that, he, talks to them. So, but still, in my mind and the way I, was raised, even though I was raised in a single parent household, and then I'm getting married at the end of this month. So the way that we are handling things in our household is we don't bring outside people into our marriage, especially if you had relations with that person. That is just out of bounds. That is just crazy to me that even Aaron's husband isn't like, oh no, we're not doing this. The fact that it's now public knowledge and, it's been brought to the forefront by Bren, which I feel like, I don't know if I remember hearing this from before. So I feel like it's Bren who's bringing this to the forefront. Like, that has got to be a lot for Aaron's husband to deal with. Like, to me, I can't believe that he would even allow him as to be a part of their business. Like, there is no way under the sun that would be okay. And it was very cringe. And the editing that Aaron's husband is getting, it's cringy as well, because like him almost falling, trying to get the mic and speak, these situations, it's depicting him a certain way. And it's like questioning, him as a man almost. And then you have a situation where your business partner, someone that you have to deal with on a regular basis because you guys have a business together, is someone that you've been intimate with. Like, how is he okay with that? How is Aaron's husband okay with that? How is Aaron's husband trusting that they can have a conversation with their history? That would be very difficult for me, and it had me cringing all the way in my seat. Did it have y'all cringing in your seat, or did you guys even watch the episode? Let me know in the comment section below. And I just took my reality TV junk and I just dumped it right on you. Peace.